You're watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 at Comedy Central. At 12, watch 7 hours of the world's greatest stand-up on Stand Up Straight.
I always get angry when I hear Penn Jillette's voice. Not because I don't like him. In fact, he's done nothing but continuously entertain me for the better part of my life. If you're ever in Las Vegas and can see Penn and Teller perform, I swear you won't regret it. It is literally the best show in town. And when I met him after one of these shows, he was really cool to me, even though I said something that was probably fanboy and cringeworthy. No, the ire that is invoked by the sound of Mr. Jillette's voice has nothing to do with anything he's done to me, or anything he's done to anybody else. It has to do with a job that he performed in the mid-90s for Comedy Central, that of voiceover guy. And in doing so, he narrated one of the saddest chapters in my life. I understand the concept of strict parenting. I've never faulted my folks for being strict as long as they were fair. My father was always fair, as long as you allowed him to calm down from the initial shock of bad news. His second wife, my stepmother, was not fair, and truly reveled in the act of making others hate themselves as much as she hated everyone else. And she would defy all reason and logic to make sure of it. Like I said, they were strict. There were rules that had to be followed and chores that needed to be completed before we could, say, go out on a Friday night. The standards for keeping our rooms clean were insane, but not unobtainable. So one Friday night in 1994, I did all my chores. I cleaned everything to a white glove standard. There would be no way I would miss my opportunity. I followed the rules to the letter. For reasons that do nothing to further the plot, I needed to go to my friend's house, so I waited patiently for my parents to come home so that they could give me the okay to meet with a girl whose name I can't remember. I want to say Susan. I tackled Dad as soon as he walked in the door, begging him to inspect my work at his earliest convenience. But then he looked up at me and I saw in his face that there would be no going out tonight. She had had another bad day at the office, and she wasn't going to let me go anywhere just because she was in a bad mood. I went upstairs and plopped on the bed and turned on the old standby in my basic cable world, Comedy Central. And I watched some Gamera movie riffed by Joel and the Bots, and I forgot about my cares and how one woman attempted to break my spirit just to see if she could. And I knew that she hadn't won because I could make the best of my prison, no matter how small the walls. No one could control my mind, and in that much, I would always be free. But nothing changed from that Friday night to the next, or the one after that, or the one after that. Eventually, I wasn't sure how many weeks had passed. I stopped trying to get permission to go out anymore. I just drifted away into Comedy Central's lineup, watching the channel almost exclusively, while during every station break, and in between every show, was that voice reminding me. You're watching Comedy Central. He couldn't have known this when he was recording it, but he was telling a young teenage boy that you're watching TV on a Friday night instead of doing anything else. It is truly one of the only times I ever surrendered to fate and failed to fight for myself, and for that extended moment of weakness, I feel shame. I couldn't be better at that time, and I made that Penn's fault. Life is going to be unfair sometimes. You will do everything right and still lose the day. But the important thing to remember is justice is fought for. Don't sit idle while you are cheated. Stand up for yourself. Treat others fairly. And don't sacrifice a moment of your life on someone who isn't fair to you and yours. Or you'll end up hating a magician's voice for the rest of your life.